We're live, and we're live, and we're live, and we're live. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. We have the wonderful Lucy Brown and her
All right.
baby on the show. This is going to be a whispering stream because the baby is there in the background. We don't want to disturb the little baby.
No, he's woken up. He's woken up. He's yeah, I don't know. You might if you hear a fart, that's not me.
Right. Okay.
Perfect cover.
This is going to be a very wholesome stream. A very wholesome stream. So I just wanted to say, like, right at the beginning of the show, that I did thoroughly enjoy your book.
Oh, thank you.
Because I did this 2-paragraph review on Twitter, and then you reposted it, and then afterwards I was looking at it, and I thought, well, that actually sounds like really negative. But that was just because I was kind of like looking at the book from kind of like a thematic angle and just saying like what I really felt about it. But I mean, putting that aside, I did I did enjoy the book. I mean, I thought it was well written and interesting, and I mean, essentially, it kind of reminded me of Tom O'Neill's Chaos. I don't know if you read that.
No, I have not.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, Tom O'Neill wrote a book called Chaos. It's about Manson murders, and he got asked to do an article about Charles Manson, and he went down a rabbit hole for like 20 years, and then the book came out at the end, and he manages to like debunk the mainstream narrative on Charles Manson, but he doesn't have a conclusion at the end of it. But I mean, the point is, it's what do you call it? New wave journalism or new journalism? It's like the journalist is part of the story, if you see what I mean. And so your book is also kind of like, because you're sort of a journalist, and it's like you're part
Yeah.
of the story. Yeah.
Well, I always thought it was a bit like I don't know if it's a bit gay to say this, but I always thought it was a bit like Almost Famous. Have you seen that film? I think it was based on a book. Is it based on a book?
It rings a bell. Yeah.
It's got that girl in it, Penny Lane, and she's like the groupie, and this young guy, and he's a writer. He's really into rock and roll writing, um, and he gets invited to come and shadow a band on the road, and they're a bit of a. I think it's set in the 60s, and he
Yeah.
shadows this band, and then it's just chaotic from the inside, and they're falling out, and there's egos, and the groupie girl is being mistreated and stuff. And he writes this
Yeah.
piece, and it's very factual, and then the band are like, no, you can't publish it, none of it's true, and they don't let him because it's too real, and it makes them look like idiots.
Yeah. Yeah.
um but there's also like a kind of tween, like a sweet nostalgia to it, like oh, this is the first time, it's like the first time doing anything, it's sweet. And then now I think that's what you said in your review. You're like, it just kind of goes to show how this whole thing, we've just seen it again and again and again, and now you've got young Bob's out there, and he's fighting Antifa. Montgomery Toms. I hope your audience probably understand who these people are, right? I'm guessing
I don't know who Montgomery Tom is. I know who Young Bob
Montgomery Toms
is.
is a new one, the
Oh,
new
another new
one,
one. Yeah.
and he's gone to the Together Alliance far lefty march today, and he's like, I saw the tweet of him with a placard that said like stand up to far left extremism, and then within 2 seconds I saw, I have been assaulted. And no
Yeah.
placard's been broken. And everyone's like, for fuck's sake. Just like clockwork, like why even go? We
Yeah.
all know what's gonna happen. But I can't say that because I was part of that years ago. But yeah, still doing it. I'm going to go to a left wing march. I'm going to call them all idiots,
Get
and
in
then we're going to
trouble.
meet it
Get
up.
arrested.
Get
Ask for
arrested. Start
donations.
GoFundMe.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all
It's
so tedious.
it is a bit tedious. It's a bit Groundhog Day, isn't it? Over and over and over
Very
again. Yeah.
Day.
I think I don't know, man. Like I was just fed up with Tommy, like kind of right from the beginning, to be honest with you. So I never really. He was always like just a character in the background who I unfortunately had to
Yeah.
talk about every week because I was like streaming and talking to people, and I was much more like alt right, and it was just like every single week like the Tommy question would pop up because he's in the news again. It's like every single week we've just got to bang on about this flipping guy and
Yeah, he's
ask
the
the
poo that just won't flush. Terrible.
Yeah. Oh God, And I just kind of realized I don't actually even know that much about him, to be honest with you. Like
Yeah.
his escapades are always on the internet. I don't want to know anything about his escapades, but they're always in my
Shenanigans.
timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a bit of a Kanye in that regard. Like, whether you want to know about him or not, it's like, oh, what's he up to? He's done something again.
yeah, or Meghan and Harry. You know,
Yeah. We
although
know too
finally
much.
they've disappeared at last, so I mean that's something at least.
Yay. But he's kind of I think he's a bit of a gateway drug, is Tommy, because it's like I think the Islam thing is a bit of a safe thing because it's even as a liberal you could be like, hang on a minute, putting women in the bag's not good, is it?
Mm.
You can still be quite a pretty liberal, and Tommy's quite good at like towing the line. It's just funny to me how we live in different worlds where you've got everyone on this march today. Apparently there was like 50,000 people or something in central London, and they're all pretty much Green supporters, a lot of terrorist supporters, and they all think Tommy is like the biggest far right threat in Britain. And yeah, it's just funny. And then we're all just sitting there being like, oh, he's so annoying. He just has all this like multicultural slop. And he's doing the hacker on stage and he wants his friend. Oh, no, that's Liam Tufts. He wants Footlong not to be deported. You see all that whole thing with Steve Laws and all this
I don't. Who's
SIGNAT
Footlong?
versus FNAT. Footlong is Liam Tufts' friend, and he was talking to Steve Laws, and he was like, "What about my mate Footlong?"
Oh fuck yeah, yeah.
It's the guy with the big knob, my mate. He's great. Like, can we not? It's just such a weird. It's just such a weird timeline where Tommy Robinson is seen by some people as Hitler, and by others as like I don't know, just kind of like a commie retard.
Yeah,
But
just an endless annoying joke who's just kind of like not serious, who will just
he's
recite a
got
bunch of
no.
platitudes. He doesn't
Yeah,
have
he
any.
doesn't. He doesn't sort of have like a direct. Like, I don't really actually know what he thinks. I work with the guy, but I don't actually know what's like the logical conclusion of what his message is, what he wants. You
Yeah,
know? Even now, after 10 years of kind of knowing him on off, like, I don't know what, like, is, yeah, the conclusion of all of this. And he's doing another march again in May. And it just becomes like my march is bigger than your march. That's what it feels like.
yeah.
It's like who can take over central London the most.
There's no philosophical depth to it, and I
Mm,
think it's a shame because I mean I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but I do have a feeling at least that with the old working class movements, of the beginning of the 20th century or the end or like the late Victorian period, I do have a feeling that those kind of like heroes or whatever, they had a sense of they wanted to raise themselves up into the middle classes, and they
yeah.
wanted to kind of like educate themselves, and they kind of had a vibe of like, I used to work down the mine, but I've read some books, I've learned, I did it the hard way,
Yeah.
and now I've adopted these middle class virtues, and I'm an educated man, and I've read the Iliad or whatever it is, and I've studied history, and I've learned something. But with Tommy, it's like he seems to be content to just be a cokehead lad, basically. Like he doesn't.
Yeah, but he's also inconsistent because he'll say something about how great it is to have middle class people on his side, and how he was always thinking, oh, when the middle class wake up, that's when you know things are going to change, yada yada yada. And then on the same time, the moment anyone falls out with him on the right or the left, it's they're just a middle class twat. So he can't make his mind up on anything. It's
Yeah,
either it's either great that the classes are coming together, or they've always been a middle class. See you next Tuesday. And I just can't. It literally just his mood just changes with the wind. But I mean that's just crackhead behaviour, is it
that
not?
well, that was one of the first things that struck me about your book was like the class warfare, because obviously you're basically a bit middle class,
Yeah.
and Tommy's working class, and like I don't know. I mean, it just yeah really kind of because I never really thought of you as being middle class back in the day. When I saw you like hanging around in alt
No,
right
I dropped my
circles and whatever.
accent.
Oh, is that it?
I should have been. I think I was being edgy and being like, oh no, I'm not not stuck up.
You weren't talking like this anymore. You weren't being all
Not
polite. You
anymore.
were like, yes. You're like, you're
No,
alright,
I
yeah,
was
I'm
suddenly
Lucy
trying. Yeah.
Brown. Yeah, Lucy fucking
Yeah.
Brown.
Well,
Yeah.
I used to have an accent. Yeah, I went to. I think at one point I was trying to, because I think at school, I think it gets you far. You know, it's like who's got the most money. But I didn't have much money, so I was nicking stuff. I was nicking designer makeup and trying to look cool in front of the other girls. Anyway, and then I went to live in South London a bit. Got this terrible accent that
Right.
stuck. Um, but yeah, but so middle class in terms of education and upbringing and just being in Cambridge. But then he's always had more money than me. It's funny, like he's always had like 10 times the money my family's ever seems to have. Do you know what I mean? It's funny the
Yeah.
dichotomy.
Well, this is my
Um,
problem as well because I mean I've had people tell me that I sound posh. I don't think I do sound posh, but people have said it to me, and it's just and they've accused me of being middle
I
class. And
don't
I
know,
suppose
but
I,
yeah, you do
I
sound. You sort of sound in the middle, like me, a little bit, like worldly,
yeah, but I don't have
like
any.
one or
I
the
mean, I
other.
guess my parents had middle class aspirations, and I did go to university, but I've always been poor, and I've always
Mm,
worked working class jobs. But I don't like. I don't know. It's like I don't because like the good thing about being middle class is that you got money. And the good thing about being working class is that you're like fucking one of the lads, and it's like I don't have either. You know what I mean? I got like the worst
yeah,
of
yeah,
both
yeah, yeah.
worlds. Yeah,
Yeah, we've always had money enough to like not starve to death, but also see a pair of jeans as 30 quid as like expensive. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
I don't know where that stands, but
yeah.
um,
All the wealth has gone out of the country.
yeah, but we have a real. I think the Americans are just starting to discover Tommy. I'm noticing because I think he's doing the rounds and like Elon Musk is promoting him and stuff, and they really don't seem to understand. There's like a lot of things like you say to do with class over here, and
Mm.
also if they think of him as like a new guy, they're like, hey, why doesn't everyone get behind this guy? This guy's great. And it's like there's so many reasons why like why people aren't getting behind this guy. And they go on about 20 years, like the span of this guy's history on the right and left pissing everyone off every which way but Tuesday. It's just funny, like there's so much lore in history that they just don't know. So I was like, well, I'll write this book. Part of it is write the book just in case when I die, so that there's like a little record of this, because no one's going to write about. I think everyone still wants to be on his good books that's around him, like people like Andrew Gold, this guy,
Mm.
podcast
Yeah,
guy, and he's like, oh, I'm going to write a book about my escapades with Tommy, and I'm thinking it's just going to be like me and my mate Tom. It's I don't know. I
yeah.
just
No, I think it's gonna work. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many people have read it or whatever, but I do think history is catching up with him, and
Oh yeah, I think
eventually,
give it time. Yeah, like books are good like that. You could just write it and leave it, and one day someone might pick it up
yeah.
and be like, "Oh wow, that's great stuff."
Well, I mean, this is like one of my ongoing complaints about internet politics is that I mean, it's great that we've got like podcasts and live streams and videos and tweets and memes and all of this, but like all of it is very transitory and not
Yeah,
solidified. But a book is more solid. It's more of like a cultural touch point. It's like, oh, have you read that book? And then you can actually look at what actually happened. So it's more permanent. So
well, yeah, and
I
also a lot of films when a lot of films are just people go, "Oh, that's based on a book," and a lot of people go, "Oh, was it?" Like because like there's so many that I guess wouldn't have been known if they were never made into films, but then the book gets a second win kind of thing, right? Like a lot of films that we know.
yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe one day someone will fucking immortalize us. And but if that wasn't me, that was the baby. If anyone
No,
heard that.
yeah, yeah. It's okay.
Um, I'm a ventriloquist that just burps halfway through interviews.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's okay. Yeah, it's good. It's wholesome.
but yeah, no, there was a lot of just I don't know. There's so much that I cut out, but it exists in like a Google Drive somewhere. So I was like, well, that could be useful one day. Like there's all these little stories that I thought it's basically it's really hard to it was already a really long book, so a lot of my time was spent cutting and cutting and cutting and just trying to like remove all the fluff, but there was so much like everything was interesting. I was really struggling with it, and then I just had my mate I just had my mate just basically write on my Google Doc like I'm getting bored now, and then just start cutting stuff. Like, right, okay. It's really
Yeah,
hard writing a book. I wouldn't recommend it unless you really want to do it. To be honest with you,
I am trying to write a book. I
it's
am
like
trying to write.
pulling teeth.
Yeah, it's much easier to do a video where you just kind of like ramble for a bit and then you just smash it out there. Writing a book, it's like, oh
You can't go
wow,
back
like
and edit a book, can you? Or just delete a book. You can't delete a book.
yeah,
It's written now.
you got to think really carefully about what you say. But I
Yeah,
do
yeah,
think it's
yeah.
important. Like one of the things that gets me is I like the end of. I think I just said this on the last stream. I think I'm repeating myself, but whatever. At the end of the American Revolution and the French Revolution, right? We had this period in history where you've got Edmund Burke and he writes his reflections on the Revolution of France,
Mm.
and then you've got what's his name? Thomas Paine does his response, the rights of man, and they got Mary Wollstonecraft. She comes out with the rights of women, and then you got these responses, and it's like this war of pamphlets, essentially, is what they called them back in the day. They're like short political books. But this conversation that happened in that 10-year period, it kind of philosophically forged what this nation is for a couple of centuries. Like we're still Peter Hitchens still describes himself as this Burkean conservative, right?
Mm.
And that's the power of writing a book, because you write a book and then somebody responds to that book with their book, and then there's a narrative, there's a conversation. You can really get the ideas down and kind of figure things out. And I just feel like that's just not really happening now with our current internet culture. It's just people talking past each other, and
Why
it's like,
you got Matt Goodwin? What are you talking about? We got the Matt
oh
Goodwin
yeah,
suicide of a nation.
yeah,
To do
man,
this. Oh
yeah,
dear.
just absolute flop. But I mean, people don't seem to respond to each other. Is I guess what I'm trying to say. It's like back in the old days,
No,
Edmund
you're
Burke
right.
wrote his book, and then the philosophers of his time thought, well, we have to respond to that with our own books. You see, so there was like a call and response, which is good because it's philosophical dialogue. But like your
Mm.
book, Lucy, I mean, is Tommy Robinson going to write response? No.
Oh, he did. He wrote a deranged tweet at 3 in the morning saying that I make up that I get abused by people or something like this.
Yeah.
And he said I was in love with him, and then he deleted it, and then he called it a book of lies, and then kept telling me to go and have kids, and then I said I've got a kid, and then he said go and live your life. Or it was just he just doesn't know. He doesn't know what to do with me because I've put so much gossip in there that it's funny. It's not gossip. It's just like what happened. But
Yeah.
it was almost too much. So it wasn't like this. I yeah. I just don't know what he's probably just like. I don't know what to do with this. If I bring any attention to it, it's like I don't even know what bit of it people could take away and think that's weird, or like it's been damaging to his brand or whatever. So he's just like, oh, she's just mental, and that's fine. That's fine. There's a lot of people out there who are on the Tommy Robinson bandwagon, and they all think I'm mental. They're not totally wrong. I am a bit mental, but just not in the way that he's describing it.
Yeah.
But I mean, mental enough to like tie myself to someone like that and like go running around fighting Antifa instead of doing a normal job. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, people are mental that do this for a living.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It
but yeah,
just.
whatever. I think a lot of it was also just lamenting, like I said to you, like lamenting the lost time from all these from the shenanigans of I'm gonna go and get beaten up, and I'm gonna go and do some viral thing and da 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 da, and we're nowhere better for it, and I do find that very frustrating.
Well, I
And I
don't think it
think
was all a complete waste. I mean, there is a
no, I
pro.
suppose
I'm
Labour.
pro protest. I have to say, there's a lot of people on the internet that just say, a protest is just a victory parade,
Yeah,
and but I don't believe that. I mean, I think it'd be awful if people didn't protest. I mean, I'm a big supporter of the lockdown protests. I mean, that's a
yeah,
story that nobody's told, right? Where's the book? Who's written the book on that? I mean, that's just been memory hold. We have literally worldwide, in every country of the world, people coming out and protesting against governments all over the world. Like the largest mass demonstration of the world in history, probably, and completely memory hold and forgotten.
Yeah, the
But not,
truckers in Canada, wasn't there? Didn't they do the big?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I went to some in London. They were. It was actually very diverse bunch of hippies, and I don't know, just a lot of interesting people. But you're right. And then we've got the farmers as well. Is there a farmer
yeah.
somewhere sitting on his tractor writing about the farmer protests and what's going on in farmerland? I'd love to read it.
Yeah, it
You
gets
know?
memory hold, And then you had the Yellow Jackets. I mean, totally forgotten. I
Oh
remember because
yeah.
it was in France, right? And like for 2 years on the streets every Saturday, huge demonstration, and eventually shut down by COVID. But I mean, I've never seen. I mean, maybe somebody has written a book about it, but maybe it's just in French or whatever. But again, just forgotten. So it is important. I think it's important to protest, and I think it's important to write about it. And I think you've done a service in that
Well,
regard.
because no, you're right. Because we'll be dead one day, and probably.
Yeah,
um, but yeah, it's like I hate the idea of just these little stories getting forgotten. I just hated it, and I thought no one I know from that era is going to write about it because I think all of them are kind of invested in not looking bad. I have had such, not even just with Tommy, but just my reputation on the right wing was just so obliterated that I was in quite a free position to then just write anything I wanted because it's like I
yeah.
couldn't get any worse than the mental case that all blah blah blah. So it was quite nice actually. It was quite freeing. Um, and a bit of fun.
Well,
Like I'll be honest, I use ChatGPT as my not my publisher, like my editor. So I'd be like, "Does this sound a bit shit?" I'd like kind of ping pong between it because I didn't have a publisher. I think I had someone interested, and then they looked at it and was like, "This is a mess." And then I think they wanted it to be more like, like I've what's the word? Like I'm kind of I'm sorry for all of this, and here's
oh
how
right,
racist everyone was.
yeah.
Here's how racist everyone was, and actually, I really wasn't okay with it, man. But like, I didn't say anything because I was in a cult, and I was like, that is so wrong. Like, it's so not what happened
Yeah,
at all. It's like we all spoke like how we speak now. I think people more and more, like the Restore Britain thing is like just the Overton window and everything is. We just always spoke like this. The words "gay" and "retarded" are back. I'm very happy about this, but
yeah. I
people
called
just
someone a
seem to really.
retard at work the other day, and everyone, like, the room went silent. I was like, oh, I forgot. You're not allowed to say that.
That's so funny. I love it when no one knows as well. Like if you're out and about, if no one knows that I'm like a right wing internet influencer or something. But I was working in a bar a couple of years ago at Christmas, and there was a table of customers, and they were singing the Pogue song. And
Right.
it got to the naughty word, and one of them really loudly shouted the naughty word, and all of his friends went quiet, and I just burst out laughing. I was like, "Oh my god!" They were like act of resistance there.
Yeah, I
But
don't. I don't even know the naughty word in the pokes.
they say faggot. They say you're a cheap, lousy faggot, but apparently can't say
Oh
that
wow.
anymore.
Oh wow.
But the guy
Yeah.
misjudged it. He thought everyone was going to shout it. I think normally people shout it because they're like, "Fuck you, political correctness." Um, but yeah, he misjudged that one. It's so funny.
Yeah, I had a. I mean, I think the pubs is where we're going to win the culture war. I was very relieved to see like a post on Twitter, some random girl on Twitter. She was in the pub, like pub posting as people do in Twitter. They go to the pub and they start, I'm having a beer in the pub, and then like an hour later they're like, kick all the foreigners out. It's like, but somebody was doing that, and she was just saying like everybody in the pub is just voting for Rupert Lowe now, and racism is becoming normalized, which is fantastic. Because I remember going like in the pub like, I don't know, 3-4 years ago or whatever. And I just remember I'm stood at the bar, I'm drinking, and there's just like these girls were there, and I was just like, they were going on and on about this like drag queen like exhibition at the local town, and I just turned around to them, I just said, I'm so fucking sick of this. So I said, aren't you sick of this rainbow flag nonsense? And all of a sudden I'm getting like shouted at by the barmaid and this other girl, then there's another
No.
person, and I'm just like, Oh mate, look, I've just had a couple of pints. Like, what the fuck is going on here? It's like you like the pub is supposed to be the bastion of freedom of speech because you have a few beers and then you say what's on your mind. But the woke virus had managed to like
Yeah,
get
nice
into that
ball.
yeah, get into that environment. But I think that's going to be the rallying point moving
Mm,
forwards.
no, I think so. I think so. I mean, I'm trying to think of. I think there's definitely, yeah, there's people out there that they can almost smell it on you, and then they start trying to kind of say things to you that they think are really edgy, and you have to kind of lube them up and let them keep talking. Do you ever get stuff like that where people can sense that you're okay
Yeah,
to talk to about certain topics?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You got to like ease it. You got to ease into it, isn't it? And then you slowly like open up, and it's like, ooh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, I just think like the pubs are like the cultural heart of the country. They always have been.
But they're
Um,
closing down, and you've got to be careful, got to look after our pubs. I actually did a campaign thing for a pub in Soho after around 2020 because it shut down during COVID. It was called the Crowbar, and it was like a well-known rock bar. And I walked past recently where it was in Soho, and it's now like one of those. Oh, it's just dingy. It's just been
yeah.
completely gutted, and it's just turned into some like third world Americana slot fest.
Oh
And
God.
it's so sad. Like when you see an old pub and you think it's either been turned into a house or it's just like derelict, and you just think, oh, like, and you kind of want a magic wand and see what it used to look like. It just
Yeah.
makes me so sad when you
Well, I
think of
prefer
pubs.
pubs just to be old and grimy. Basically, that's like the best. That's the best pub. Like,
No, definitely. In Cambridge, there's one called the King Street Run, and it's so grimy, but it's like it was so grimy that I went back 10 years after I used to go there, and our names were still written on the wall in like lipstick. I was like,
yeah,
oh,
that's what you want. Like,
it
I
was like
went
going
to
back to Neverland. Land. It was like, oh, that's where we sat. That's where we used to smoke fags before the ban, and
yeah,
that's
that's
where
where I snogged
Stephen
that
cut
guy.
himself.
Yeah. No, I went to watch. I went to watch with a friend. I went to watch. 28 years later, the Bone Temple, which was
Oh, what
brilliant.
did you
Yeah,
think?
I think it's brilliant. I think it's the best movie. Yeah, it's great, stunning. Yeah, brilliant. I mean, I love it because he's done something weird with it. Like he could easily have just rolled out another zombie movie, right? And everybody would have made a lot of money out of it and it would have been fine. But he decided to take a risk and make something strange,
Who's
which
he?
Danny Boyle.
Oh, my friend, that was directed by a black woman, don't you know?
Oh, sorry. Well, I'm okay, but he wrote the script, didn't he? Who wrote the script then?
I don't know. Well, I think no, I think you're right. I think he was a producer on it. But no, to be fair,
Well,
the
it's Danny
director.
Boyle's story, though. I mean, he set it up with the first one, right?
No, I
So
know, but the director's actually. I normally hate diversity quotas, but I don't think she is. I think she's actually just a talented black woman, but just nobody seems to fucking care.
yeah, she did a good
They
job.
do exist.
She
Um.
did do a good. The first scene was horrible. Like you got
Oh,
these.
yeah.
That was nasty, man. That was like fucking nasty. I don't know what the name of the actor who was playing Jimmy Savile, but he was
Oh,
really good.
Jack. Oh, what's his name? Jack something. He was from Skins.
Yeah, he was
Funny enough.
fucking. He was great. Like he was proper.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a
Yeah. That
cunt
was one of those
basically.
ones that I think my boyfriend had to sort of say, can we take a break? And then there was a scene. I won't spoil it for viewer listening, but there's a scene in a barn, and we were eating
Yeah.
pizza, and I had to go ahead and stop doing that as well. That was uncomfortable. But it's really well made. Apparently, they weren't going to have that many zombies in it, and the director was like, "This is a zombie film. We need like we need fucking
Yeah.
zombies in it." But anyway,
Well,
masterpiece.
I mean, that movie was about the. Well, it's like because in any zombie movie you have like the two enemies. The first enemy is the zombie, and the second enemy is the
Human.
humans. Yeah. So the
Yeah.
first movie was kind of about the zombies, and the second movie was about the humans. So yeah, it was about Jimmy Savile basically. It's kind of like horrific. Yeah, it
No,
was
it's
really good.
great. I mean, there's so that see this is where I get sometimes I get a bit annoyed at critical drinker types who kind of cut off their
Oh,
nose to
I'm
spite their
so fed up
face.
with that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so it's not just me because this whole thing. You are right wing. You must like XYZ film thing. Blah blah blah. You must not like other film thing. And there's some stuff that you just think it's good. Like, yes, they might be made by someone that thinks Brexit's bad or something, but it's like it's worth watching and it's generally good, and you can forget that bit.
Well, I'm fed up with the drinker because there are good movies being made, but he doesn't promote them.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's just like, well, it's all stick and no carrot. I mean, his whole thing is just hurling abuse at Marvel superhero movies, which is like, okay, fair enough, that's shite. But there are good, like Weapons was great. Did you see
I
Weapons? That was
loved Weapons.
fucking mental. Those kids running through the streets with their arms
It
back,
was
going,
perfect.
oh fuck
Great
me, that
film.
was
Great stuff.
yeah, that
No, you're
was
right.
that.
It's just do you know what it kind of reminds me of Critical Drinker is? I watched quite an interesting video about all these SJW people. You know, you get like, the girl in glasses picture and the one that shouts no at the sky, and all your
Yeah,
typical thumbnails of SJWs. And
yeah,
quite a few of them weren't even having meltdowns. They were just kind of viral videos of like unfortunate people that just looked like soy
look the
face.
type, yeah.
So they just got used in all these thumbnails just for the rest of their life. And for all you know, they could just be like rational people. And it reminds me of that with the Marvel stuff. It's like, okay, you don't like Brie Larson. Like, got it. You don't like these Marvel films. Okay. But frankly, I don't think I've actually ever seen a Marvel film. I'm never going to. It's not really something that bothers me. But like, when you go on their YouTube channel and there's just like 10 pictures of Brie Larson, you're like, this is starting to look like you just got a thing. I don't know,
Yeah.
like, so there's something deeper going on here where you're just like, you hate this woman too much. It's too weird.
Well, it's just like because I do agree. Like the problem with the Marvel superhero movies is that they've sucked up all the money. I mean, they only have so much money to make movies, and they only have so much space in the cinema and what have you. And so that all of the promotion and the money is going into these shit movies instead of something good. And it's like, well, if you want to fix that, you've got to promote the good movies. That you've got to promote what's good, and they don't. I mean, there was I don't know if you saw. Did you see Dragged Across Concrete?
No.
Oh well, Jewish director. He did Dragged Across Concrete, which had Mel Gibson in it and this other guy. And before that, he did Fight in Cell Block 49 or something like that. And these movies were brilliant. I was so excited. I'm like, oh well, it's this great director, really well put together movies, really well directed. And then nobody really celebrated it. And he just disappeared. And it's like,
Well, that's
yeah.
sad.
Yeah, and there are other cultural things. I mean, let's talk about
Benoit Blanc.
I don't know that. What's that?
That's
Benoit Blanc.
Daniel Craig's character in Knives
Oh,
Out.
he's a bit shite. He's a bit gay. I mean,
How dare you? I love Benoit Blanc. He's so, oh my God.
yeah, but he
Sorry.
doesn't. The accent's a bit shit. Come
I
on,
know, that's what makes it.
that's what makes it good.
What makes it
Because
good just in his little
it should
outfit.
it should just ham it up. Well, if I was gonna do it, I'd just be like really like drag out my vowels,
Yeah,
really
his little
yeah.
southern gay man, and Hugh Grant's his husband in the
Oh, was
second
who?
one.
Was he? I don't
In the
remember
Glass
that.
Onion, they have like a really quick little gag of where Hugh Grant answers the door while Benoit Blanc is like in the bathtub like,
Oh
with
right.
his rubber duckies, and he's depressed because he hasn't done a murder mystery in ages because of lockdown, and it's just stupid.
To be fair though, they were good films. They're well put. I mean, I saw his. Have you seen The Brick, the first one he did?
No.
Oh well, you got to watch that. The director, I think he did this like back in like 2010 or whatever it was. He did this movie called The Brick, and it's about this girl and she gets murdered, and basically it's a murder mystery, but it's set in high school. But it's really good. But he just kind of went woke. So it's a bit shy. But what I wanted to say was the name's escaping me. Who did 17 Going Under? Sam Fender, right?
Mm.
Right? So Sam Fender did a song on that album, 17 Going Under, where he's talking about the woke. And he's like, and the liberals, they're all dickheads. And he's singing about Epstein taking kids to Epstein's bed, and the elites are all a bunch of cunts. And I listened to this song, I'm like, what the fuck? Like this famous British pop star / rock star has come out, literally making a song singing about Jeffrey Epstein, and slagging him off and slagging off all the elites and saying that the liberals are just dickheads, and nobody has noticed, right? Nobody celebrated it. Nobody was like, "Oh, fucking nice one, Sam Fender." No, was completely ignored and forgotten. So I just think the right wing in general is just fucking culturally blind, basically.
Yeah, I don't really know what right wingers listen to beyond a couple of TikTok edit type songs,
Yeah,
which tend to be kind of old. Actually, no, that's a lie because they talk about millennial girl music, don't they? And kind of like emo Tumblr music for some reason gets used a lot in memes and
oh,
stuff.
yeah,
And then there's who is it? There's like a Twitter account that always uses Enter Shikari and a bit of madness. See, there are some accounts that will post, yeah, like madness and good stuff, and you think, oh, that person's. It's like endearing. You're like, that person's actually aware of cultural stuff, and
yeah,
presumably isn't just some like alt right spurg with no sense of that just hates Marvel. It's boring.
yeah.
But they're few and far between. And I don't know. I found that. See, this is when I was trying to be part of the right wing, I think probably to make up for all my friends ditching me. I think that's what happens. And then you end up trying to fit in with people that just don't understand like any of this stuff either. And then you think, oh, I can't really talk about this stuff because they're going to think I'm woke and they're going to call me a spy. So you kind of keep it to yourself. But I'm glad that's changed now.
Sorry, what do you
Glad we
mean?
got
Talk
some
about?
stuff.
You lost me. Talk about what stuff?
I mean, like, if you were to
Art and
say, I
stuff.
like, have you heard this Sam Fender song? You can imagine if you're in like a group chat with a bunch of alt-right spurgs, they'd be like calling you a puff for
Yeah,
for like suggesting that something mainstream isn't shit, kind of thing.
yeah, yeah.
And they'd be
Exactly.
like, no, no,
What?
no, we must listen to this German fucking soldier song from the 40s on repeat. You know, like there are people out there like that just anything modern is just like podsed and Jewish and they won't listen to it and they can't accept that things don't
Well,
they're not all.
it's a great weakness. It's a great weakness because we need a cultural revival, and we
Yeah, I
need.
quite like the Barbie film for that reason. I tell you what, because I didn't take it seriously and it was just camp silliness, I
Yeah,
suppose. Like I didn't go into it thinking I'm going to get offended by everything in this. I went to it thinking, isn't this fun that people are going to the cinema and dressing up? Like that's all I cared about was like, oh, this is like fun and camp and like a silly thing to do. But it actually was just nice to actually get out and see other people engaging in something culturally again. It was like a little bit of culture back, like the Oppenheimer Barbie thing. I was like, this is fun. I don't think I've been to the cinema since where it's felt like that. It was really good. Apparently, actually, no, that's bollocks. Apparently, the Minecraft film was like that for kids. They were
oh
like
right.
throwing popcorn everywhere and stuff. But I miss that. I miss like turning up to somewhere and seeing people. Oh, that's my people because they're all dressed silly. Like you just don't get
Yeah.
that anymore. Everyone's in tracksuits. But
No,
anyway,
the culture's dead. It's shite.
it's
It's shite. I,
especially London. London's dead. It's sad.
yeah, I really do not want to sound like this old boomer, like telling everybody how great things were in the '90s. But I just like do feel like it's necessary. Like the culture is dead. It's shite. Things do not change. The fashion hasn't changed. People wear the same clothes all the time. There's no
Mm,
good rock bands. There's no good movies. Like we were so lucky. We had great films coming out every year, and you would talk to your friends about these great films, and they'd be excited, and everybody would watch like the same great films that came out. And you had like you could have a connection with people through the cinema and through the great albums that were coming
mm.
out. But you just can't have that anymore because everything's shite. And so how do you connect with people? I mean, the last great cultural phenomenon, I suppose, would have been Game of Thrones. That was what people were really talking about.
I didn't see that because I saw like one scene of it, which was some girl getting done from behind, and I was like, "That's porn. I don't want to watch that." Um,
Oh, right.
but I was
I didn't
just
have.
like, "Oh, is this what you lot are watching?" Like everyone, but no, you're right. I think it was so good that they're still trying to make those films again now, but shit.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, the actual good films and the ones that are worth following, they get lost to the wayside, and it's really sad because you've just got all these industries like, let's try this again, let's try Lord of the Rings again, let's try Lion King again, and we didn't know how good we got it. Let's do Harry Potter again.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I don't even mind Black Snape at this point. It's actually kind of funny. Like, I've just accepted Black Snape. That's fine. But I don't
Oh
know. Like, it's
God.
just, do we need it? Do we need it?
Yeah, there's nothing new being created. Um,
It's
it's
sad.
it's. I mean, I think maybe it's got something to do with copyright, or like the company's just got lazy. Like, why not just regurgitate the same garbage again and again and again? Like, because the consumers are just going to eat it, and that's what's happened. But there needs to be. Because the thing, like creativity, like in my opinion, creativity is just fundamentally sexual, right? Because sex creates babies. It's a creative act,
Mm.
and so if you're dead, like if you're sterile, if your nation is sterile and you're not having babies, then it's kind of like in a creative way you're also going to be sterile. I think the same. I think these two things kind of interlinked. I think a nation that is healthy and fertile and moving into the future and is having children will also be a nation that is producing great works of art, and a nation that's not having children and not having sex is just going to be culturally dead, and that's the world that we live in, unfortunately.
No, right. I mean, I don't know if you saw on the timeline, but people were sharing clips of The Big Breakfast the other day, like a clip of that TV show, The Big Breakfast.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I got a comment on
That,
there. Yeah,
yeah, just that presenter just being silly and having fun and being a bit flirty, and you think there's so many things in this that can't happen now, like being flirty or, oh, I don't know, imagining COVID, everyone would have to be standing 2 meters apart and all this bollocks. And it's just like endless paperwork that has to be done for anything to be. And then so now you've got all these TV shows and they're still going, and you've got the Have I Got News for You, Mock the Week, and all this shit. And I think they've now got SNL in the UK as well, and like all these shows. And I don't really watch them unless I come to my parents' house and it's on, and then I get a chance to like see what's on the Goy box, as they say.
yeah.
And it's just sad because you've got all the production value, but just nothing. It's just a bunch of nothing, but it's like tarted up, shiny nothing. And it's just yeah, it's sad. There's no like I was a big fan of Nevermind the Buzzcocks. That was kind of the last era for me of when I remember feeling part of something and watching telly, and you'd have people like Amy Winehouse on, and they'd be taking the piss out of her. But then I don't know if you remember, they did this lineup of people where they used to say like, "Who's the famous one?" Do you
Right.
remember that?
No, I never really watched it, but yeah,
Oh, they it was very like slapdash, and there would be, okay, we've got some famous-ish person that everyone's forgotten about. So let's say like Rick Waller, and we're going to find four other men that are also obese that look a bit like Rick Waller, and we're going to put them in a
yeah.
lineup, and our celebrities have to guess which one's the celebrity. So it'd be that, and there'd just be people just, I don't know, just it was very unscripted. It was very unscripted. You have people go and like defend the people and hug them. I think Amy Winehouse hugs them, and then one of them had sweets in his pocket. It was all very random. One of them
Yeah.
had a wrestle with someone, like with Paris Hilton's sister. Like, anyway, it was just random, and but it was like jolly and nice and fun. And Noel Fielding was on it, and he made sense on it. And now you've got Noel Fielding with a weird new haircut in his 40s or 50s or something, looking really awkward on British Bake Off, trying badly to make jokes with the fat guy from Little Britain, but he's not fat anymore, and he's not
Yeah.
funny either. And they're just standing there awkwardly trying to make edgy jokes about randos baking cakes. And
Oh,
you're just watching it like, what the fuck of it? What is this? Like, who's watching this? Who's producing it? Why does it exist? And that's just what I think. And it's just like
I,
you say, it's just sad. It's sterile.
well, I think it's because we're not allowed to make fun of each other anymore. Like I think like back in the day, you had Harry Enfield and you had the Fast Show, right? And so,
Oh
oh, you don't like that?
no, that was sorry. That was
That was
like
a
a
good.
harsh
Oh, yeah.
lamenting.
Yeah, well, because the whole point was he made fun of English people. So you had like, you know, like for my generation, like everybody knows that thing about the Scousers where you're like, calm down, just
Yeah,
calm down. Like, absolutely, the entire country knew that skit, and it would get repeated in public repeatedly. But that was because we were a racially homogeneous society. We were allowed to make fun of each other, and nobody would
yeah.
get
I knew someone
offended.
exactly like that called Ray. He was
Yeah.
exactly with the afro and everything, exactly like that.
Yeah, but then you fill the country up with foreigners, and it's like, I mean, we just could not have a Harry Enfield now, because if we had a Harry Enfield now, he would have to make fun of the Pakistanis, and that's just not going to happen, is it? That's not going to
Mm,
happen. So all the comedy dies. You can't make
so
jokes in.
sad.
Yeah.
You know all those programs where they say looking back at the 80s, looking back at the 90s, and it's just a bunch of talking heads. And I remember like watching these as I grew up, and they always talk about like British comedy shows, and everyone would be like, "Oh, this was a really good joke at the time." Blah blah blah. I spoke to this, spoke to that, and they always roll out the one about a bunch of Indians, and they go to a British restaurant, and they go, "Give me the blandest thing on the menu." Do you remember that one? Was it the
No.
Kumars?
No.
I think it was the Kumars, and the whole joke is that British people they get really pissed up. They go to an Indian, and they say, "Give me the spiciest thing on the menu." Bunch of lads, and so the joke was like, "Haha, a bunch of Indians," and they say, "Give me the blandest thing on the menu," and that's always rolled out as a sign of like multiculturalism at its finest. Was like Indians can be funny too,
Yeah.
and it's like when I look back at it, I'm just like it's like the beginning of the end because it was this kind of haha like sort of, and it's like it's just become that
Yeah.
forever. Like every time I see the telly and I see anyone trying to make a joke, and they're trying to make like a hint about. We're a bit racist, aren't we? And you're just like, what is the actual underlying message here? It's like it's not unity. It's there's no, you're trying to appease a really wide audience to the point where, as you say, like there's you're appeasing no one. You're not really making any observations.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It's
we're having a moan. There's probably some good stuff out there, but we wouldn't know about it.
no, no. It's important because it's like there's a really fine line between abuse and comedy, because it's the difference between two friends laughing together at themselves or at each other, and a predator kind of like laughing at you in a nasty way. And
Mm,
sometimes that line can always that can get blurred. Do you know what I mean? So like sometimes you got a friend and you think he's your friend and you're having a laugh with him, but then sometimes like you take a step back and you're like, hang on a minute, you crossing the line here, or is this what's
mm.
going on? So there's always like a little like there's a blurred line there, and it's difficult to analyze when it gets crossed. But I just think when we were a more homogeneous society, we were more comfortable with each other, and we could make fun of each other, and it was all in good feeling. But when you have a country full of foreigners, it's like you can't really.
It's like we're embarrassed to because then
Yeah,
it's we're excluding them because they don't get it,
yeah,
and that makes them
yeah,
sad. And they can't be sad because they're
yeah,
British. But at the same time, it's their culture. The thing that
yeah.
they don't understand that they're excluded from is also their culture. It's very confusing. Do you watch Gogglebox? It's a bit
No.
Goggleboxy, but there it's again they used to have Gogglebox used to be quite a bit more homogenous as well, and then slowly but surely now you've got these two rando Somalian girls that like all they just do is go like, "Oh my god," at everything. That's their reaction. It's just like
Yeah.
you never, and you just I don't know. I despair a little bit. There's nothing wrong with certain people, but there's a lot of Somalians going on. Like it was where I lived in London, and this whole like on the one hand you'd hear about all this unity and everyone getting along. On the other hand, I thought, do you know what? None of these women have ever like said hi to me. Like when I'm walking down the street, they're never like good morning. Never. They're always just
Yeah.
on their phone. Anyway, no, we're living in topsy turvy land, so I'm just going off on a tangent there about.
No, they are very
Oh,
unfriendly. Like it's just stunning. Like you go into a shop and they don't say please and thank you. It's like what? What?
like basic stuff. I mean, again, it's because I've popped down to the countryside and here everyone's they're walking their dogs and they say hello, and you go to the church and everyone's smiling at the little one and asking all these questions and stuff. And in London
Mm,
sometimes I felt like genuinely some people looking at my offspring like he's a threat or like, oh god,
yeah.
another one. And you just think it's gonna go. I think it's gonna go badly. I think the country, I don't want to like doom whatever, but I don't really see it going in a very good way. Um,
Yeah.
in the next like decade or two. But at the very least, again, I feel like I've done my bit. I've like explained how it got fucked up even worse by the Tommy Robinsons of the world. I explained his part in fucking it up, so there you go.
Well, I think the Tommy thing's over. To be honest with you, like I said in my tweet, I think we have two false messiahs in British politics. We've got Tommy Robinson and we've got Nigel Farage, and
Very
it's
much.
almost like Tommy's for like the working classes, and Farage is for like the middle classes or something like that. And obviously, of course, they hate each other, which divides us even more, right?
Mm.
And I think obviously Farage, like that bubble has burst. Like people have just seen through him completely,
Oh, that
and
admission about Rupert Lowe, I think, was it for me. I was like, wow, you cunt. You absolute
yeah.
cunt. Like, I always kind of thought you were a cunt, but I'd hoped you weren't a cunt. But that was. Sorry, can I say cunt?
Yeah, no, that's fine. No, like, I also defended Farage. I mean, I defended him because I thought like he was doing this good cop bad cop thing where
Yeah,
like
like, let him
Farage would,
cook.
yeah, Farage would be lame and like Rupert would be based in the background. So I thought, okay, that's okay. But then he kicks Rupert out of the party, and it's like, oh, fuck, yeah, this sucks.
It's just, I just don't really know what. If I was voting reform, I don't really know what I'd be voting for.
Yeah, Zia Youssef, I suppose.
Yeah, which again, like, there was a part of me that was like, look, we're in this kind of world now where people are a bit scared, especially the boomers. They're a bit scared for a white person to say this. They get a bit freaked out. Um, it's like there was someone that I spoke to the other day. She was a bit of a boomer, she's a bit in her 50s or 60s, and she went, "Well, I mean, Rivers of Blood went a bit too far, but things are going badly, aren't they?" And I went, "What do you mean it went a bit too far?" And she couldn't really explain. I think she just meant Enoch Powell is a baddie. He's like too bad for me to say is. And I do get it. Like, there's a lot of boomers out there who they don't really know how to say this stuff, whereas we're like terminally online, so we just say that it's like everything. But I get that
Yeah.
there's a need for like reform to scoop up some of the boomers and like remind them that having a country is okay and having borders is okay. But
Well,
we
we're
just don't
going
have
to
time.
yeah, we're going to need some kind of Boomer Zoomer alliance. And
Yeah,
I mean, I hate the boomers as much as anybody. I have boomer parents and uncles and aunties, and they're just awfully selfish people. I just think that
complacent.
well, they're just like I just remember like going to a birthday party of one of my boomer family members, and it was in the middle of COVID, and I'm sitting at this dinner table with all these boomers, and they're talking about the lockdown and what it's going to cost the country, and then they all just started laughing and said, well, we won't have to pay it, ha 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 ha. And I'm just thinking, wow, you people are such cunts. Like you people are just awful. I mean, I guess it was a joke, but I mean, it's like never a truer word said in jest. I mean, they're just awful people, but
No, it's
nonetheless
a bit Hunger Games, isn't it? It's just like I've had exact moments like that as well, which I think probably did push me into the arms of the retard right of like, oh, are these my people? Bless you. Are these really my people?
with the boomers, yeah, they're just wow, man, such an awfully selfish
It's
group of
like
people.
it doesn't matter that a 12-year-old got raped in Nuneaton, for example. That doesn't matter
Yeah.
because my daughter is at private school. Like that is just seems to be the
Oh
way of thinking
God.
of people out there. It really is. I mean, it might not be something that they consciously think, but it's a bit like when you hear about some tragic accident on the news and you think, well, at least my family's okay. It's just this kind of just very selfish, like, well, it's not happening to me. But it is now going to Operation Scatter, and a lot of other issues like even just, tax and whatever, rising cost of everything and
Yeah, but
yeah,
they are pensioners, and the pensioners are essentially they're the ones destroying the country. I mean, like you can blame it on the Jews or you could blame it on the Freemasons, but really it's Granny who wants her pension, and her voting bloc is the most powerful voting bloc in the country because old
mm,
people vote and old people get what they want and old people want their pensions, and every government knows that they have to satisfy the pensioners or they won't get elected. And it's never really discussed in right-wing circles on Twitter because we're all so obsessed with mass immigration and all the crimes and stuff, but the boomers live in a different world and they are very much focused on their triple lock. Right, they're really
mm,
focused. They like I talked to some boomers and they were going on about the post office and this big scandal and blah.
and the
They just
Watergate. thing.
they're in a different news cycle. They're on a different algorithm. They're on a different. They just think in a different way. They are thinking about their pensions, and the reality is they've been fed this idea that we have to invite these foreigners into the country to work to pay for our pensions, and that's what's going on, right? So they're awful people, but nonetheless, we need their vote in order to win.
Ugh.
So yeah, yeah.
I mean, what do we do about it?
Yeah.
What do you do about it? No, it's funny coming back to certain areas of the countryside, and my boyfriend said this kind of true. It's just 2007 for them still. Like it's
Yeah.
it's incredible. I mean, they just don't seem to. There's like whisperings, and like now and again you'll meet like a bloke that's maybe I don't know, maybe in his 40s or 50s that might not talk about certain things, but might hint that he kind of thinks something, but then he'll quickly walk it back and try and say something anti-racist because they tend to. I think especially if you're maybe a bit younger, they tend to assume that you're probably quite left wing, so they're kind of
Right.
walking a fine line. They don't really know. Like there was one guy that I met a while back, and he was talking about immigration, and I rolled my eyes because I thought he was being quite liberal, and he went, "Oh, that wasn't racist, was it?" And I was like, I was like, "Darling, I was racist for a living. Like, don't worry,
Yeah.
you're in safe hands." But yeah, no, I don't know, but it's going to get worse before it gets better. But you're right. The Tommies of the world are they're kind of seen as dinosaurs, at least
I
by
think he's
previous
done.
people.
I think it's over. I think everyone knows he's a cokehead now. I think he's going to get a fresh burst of steam because he's managed to get into America. I mean, he was
Yeah,
blocked out of America for a long time because of some visa squabble or whatever. But
yeah, yeah,
now,
yeah. He was on the Roseanne show. I was listening to it, and I was like, you know what? Like, just this is like a fairy tale that her her followers are listening to, and they're probably liking it. And you know what? That's like whatever at this point. Like, I don't even because someone messaged me and went, "Oh my God, he's going to America. Like, what do we do?" And I was like, "What do you mean? What do we do? What do you
yeah,
mean? Who's we?" I was like, "Let him
yeah,
go to America." I was like, "I really don't care. I've written my." That's the nice thing about writing a book as well. You're like, I've made peace with it. Like I was dicked over by a twat. Like I don't really have anything else to like say on the matter, apart from like, yeah, he's a twat, a bit of a twat. Like what? Live your best life.
yeah.
Go to America and spread the good word about how fucked we are if you must. But yeah,
No, I would agree with that actually. But I think like, and I think that's important because I've had friends that dick me over, and I felt like, oh my god, and it's like you got to be really careful about it because you don't want to be the person that's constantly going on about something that happened in
mm,
the past, but you also don't want to be the person that didn't say anything because then you're kind of like a victim. So you because both of those two both of those two things are a victim. Like the person that says nothing is a victim because they said nothing, and the person that's always going on about it is a
mm,
victim because they're still carrying it with them. So you don't want to be either one of those people. You want to be somebody who like just says their piece, gets it out of their system, stands up for themselves, says, no, this is actually what happened, boom, boom, boom,
yeah.
boom, boom, and then fucking move on, basically. And that's the way to deal with it. So,
No, I
yeah.
think so. I was definitely stuck in the not saying anything camp, and then so I was stewing in it for ages because I think it just goes round and round in your head, and
Yeah.
and then I'd have people like Kaylin would call me from Ukraine, and he'd be like, "Oh, there's bombs outside my flat," and, "Oh, do you remember the good old days?" And we'd be like, just talking shit, and then you get to a point you're like, "God, we talk about the good old days too much. We need to both move on from talking about that, and just kind of I don't know." And he kept going, "Oh, someone should write about it. I was going to, but I never got round to it." And I was like, "Well, fuck it. I've got nothing else to do." We had some capers, but yeah, there was a long time where I just was like, my life is shit because of this series of events and then events afterwards because of like spiraling. Because it does, like when you get betrayed or when you get dicked over by someone, like it really does. It raises many more questions than answers, and you end up really doubting yourself. And then if you're not careful, which I wasn't, you just spiral. And then I just spiral, spiral, spiral. And then you get to a point where you're like, I'm in my 30s now. Like I need to
Mm.
I'm gonna be a sad case if I don't like get off my arse and like do something. Um, so yeah, it's good. It's good, like you say, you get it out, you clear the air, and then it's
Yeah,
magic. It is just like, it's the weight's off.
yeah,
Quite nice.
yeah. It's an interesting book because it's almost a book like, well, it is a book about abuse essentially, because looking at it from a thematic point of view, because obviously it's like a story about a story about a story. It's like you've got it's essentially at the bottom of it you've got Rotherham, and you've got the grooming gangs, and you've got what these horrible Muslims have done to these white working class girls,
Mm.
and then you've got the story of Tommy, who's supposed to be the hero fighting against that, and then you've got the story of you thrown into that mix, trying to work with Tommy, and then it turns out like that the people that are trying to expose these abusive people turn out to be abusive themselves, and it's
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
it's like, whoa, it's like, it reminds me of that what Nietzsche said about like he who fights with monsters should be careful not to become a monster himself.
Mm.
It's like I think it's people, they feel like they have a higher moral justification. This is my take on it. This is what I experienced getting involved with the alt right and watching their behavior. It's like there are people out there, and they think, like the Muslims, they're doing everything they do, and they think it's justified because of Allah, right? Allah Akbar. I can rape this girl and chop her into pieces and put feed her to people in a kebab or whatever, and it
Mm.
doesn't matter because I'm a Muslim, right? And then it's like Tommy and his gang, they're like, they feel like they can do anything that they do, rip people off and take their donations and spend it on cocaine or whatever, and it's okay because they're fighting the bad guys. And
Mm.
it's like, maybe not. Maybe there are just assholes out there, and they have some higher moral crusade that they're fighting on, and they use that as an excuse just to be a cunt, you know?
Yeah, because like I still struggle sometimes. Like I've done interviews before where they've gone, "Oh, it sounds like you've got a bit of a, you know, you, you don't hate him, like you still kind of believe in him a bit." And I'm sort of like, not. It's hard, isn't it? Because I still sometimes I'd watch old videos when I was writing, and I would watch him doing like some epic rant or doing quite a good interview, maybe in his former years, where
Yeah.
he's clearly passionate. I mean, even now, even though I would say his mind is just deranged. It's just a ping pong table of like confused, muddled stories and like bits and bobs. But there's a passion in there of I saw something and I spoke out, and I've kind of got a bit mentally damaged from it because the state did not want me to speak out, and then I was able to whip up like all these lads and go to towns and cities and go in the city centre and like cause trouble where these men were raping these girls. And I do think that on a base level that I still agree with that it was a natural reaction. It was like a white blood cell reaction to an
Right.
infection. And I think I'll always think that. And I think that's the thing that a lot of his followers, unfortunately, have fallen into the trap of you're either with him or you're pro migrant rape. You're either a Tommy Robinson supporter or you support the Pakistani grooming gangs. And there's no in between. You can either be one or the other. And it's just, yeah, I don't know, it's sad because, yeah, there's this loophole where, as I wrote, you kind of become an enabler for this person who can get away with doing the bare minimum because everywhere he goes, he gets people coming up and saying, "You give me hope." He does a line of coke that makes you feel good anyway,
Yeah.
temporarily, but then you're surrounded by people telling you you're a hero. And when you said this, that made me really wake up. And I would see it all the time. It's like walking around with a celebrity. People would be like, "You're the reason that I spoke out. You're the reason that that I made a Twitter account or whatever." Or
But it,
felt
but it
felt
is
like I wasn't alone. And you think that's a really nice thing on the one hand, but on the other hand, it's created this monster that just doesn't give a fuck, who's wasting your money.
who's wasting your money, and is also just pro-immigration, because I've seen multiple videos of him just saying, "Oh, we need immigrants, but they've got to be good immigrants," and it's like, well, no, no, Tommy, we don't want any of them. I mean, I've got to
Not
ask you them.
anymore. Maybe years ago, like maybe that was an argument to be
Yeah,
made, but really not anymore. Like we need. minus. We need minus immigrants.
Yeah, we need Reed Michael. I've got to ask you the $1 million question. I mean, like, do you think he works for Mossad? Do you think he's a working class Jew? Do you think like he works for the Israelis?
I don't know. I think because I never saw there was no. Sometimes I see a lot of the memes and stuff, and I don't. I think it's not from what I saw when I worked with him. I can only speak for like the 2 years or something. But it wasn't as shady as that. There wasn't some secret guy with a big hat, and a big trench coat coming over and handing him like a script, you know, with a
Yeah,
big hook nose. Um, I think it's more likely just that a lot of Jewish people and a lot of Israeli types agree with him on what he's saying about Muslims and just want to throw money at him. I don't know how many of them even have that much power. I could be talking completely out of my arse though. There could be deals in place that I never knew about. I don't know. But I
yeah,
do think it's just a very baseline CivNat thing of like Douglas Murray is the same, right? Israel is um what's the word? It's like civilization. It's the only place in the Middle East that you can have a pride parade. We must defend it because it's like our moral duty. And if they come for Israel, they come for us next, and all this kind of stuff. And I think just, a lot of people are bought into that. He's met a lot of Jewish people that say that. I think you get called a Nazi so much as well. Um, you probably lean into it because you're like, how can I be a Nazi? I love Jews. Look at how many fucking Jewish friends I have. It's just tedious. Like I
yeah.
don't think Israel is squeaky clean. I don't really frankly care about Israel. Like I think a lot of people have reached this conclusion as well. I'm quite happy to see that change in the atmosphere because when I never joined PA, but when I was around PA types and like more far righty, alt righty, it was just like I don't know. It was just a bigger topic. I think now when I see people, they're just like, I don't give a fuck about Middle Eastern politics. And I think that's the line to take. I care about Britain, and that's it.
Yeah, I do think the Jewish thing. I think if I was an American, I'd probably care about Jews more because, like, in America, they say Israel is our greatest ally, right? And it's just so obvious that there is this very, very powerful Jewish lobby in America that's dragging America into wars and stuff. But I just don't think
Hmm.
that is the case in our country, or if it is, it just seems to be kind of like very much in the background. And yeah, I mean, the Jewish question is just fascinating to talk about anyway, because like you start going down that rabbit hole, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, Karl Marx was Jewish, oh, Sigmund Freud was Jewish,
Yeah,
oh,
the
you've
feminism
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Oh,
you've got all these different characters, and then you start looking at Jewish history. It's like, wow, you guys have got your fingers in everything. So I mean, it's a fascinating subject to talk about, but when it comes to Gaza, it's like I don't want anything to do with any of this. Like I'm not on the side of the Israelis, and I absolutely do not care about dead Palestinian children. I'm sorry, but these people hate me, and the Palestinians, like if they could just blow up England, they would do it tomorrow. They're all terrorists. So I mean, I guess it's kind of sad that civilians are getting killed, but they're the enemy, and I've just run out of sympathy for these people. So I think that, like as you say, I think the correct position to take is just like I don't want anything to do with the Middle East. Just absolutely, just
yeah.
no.
I mean, my
Yeah,
priority is like you say, like the case of Charlene Downs or Rhiannon Sky White. That to me is it's like sorry, but that's my people. Like the British girls, they come first. Sorry, in the queue of me caring of things, the British girls that got basically given, whose lives were just sacrificed for whatever. That's the biggest tragedy in my book. Like
yeah,
that, the terror attacks, anything on British soil, like because they are the innocents and they are my people. Then sorry, but I care about my people first. No offense to Palestinians. I don't like seeing. I don't think anyone could look at those pictures and be like, oh, I don't. But at the same time, yeah, it's like you said, it's just a bit. It just
well,
feels
it's
like I
just
don't even want to go there. I don't want to touch it. I just,
yeah.
just yeah, it's over there. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, I just got hard-hearted over time because I just know the way these people work. It's always the dead kid. They always put a dead kid on some fucking news article, and then it's like, oh, like the whole of Europe got opened up because that Turkish boy. I think you mentioned it in the in your book actually, the story. But you remember the kid?
Yeah,
He got drowned, and he's face down on the beach, and they're all taking photos of him, and that photo was just
that's
everywhere.
the
And
one.
it's like, yeah, and it's just like somewhere along the line you got to say, I don't give a fuck about some dead kid. Like, fucking don't give a shit. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna have this emotional blackmail anymore. I don't care about dead Palestinian children, dead fucking anything. I do not want these refugees in my country. Thank you very much. Just fuck off.
Yeah. Well, it's
So
because there's
that's
no like the other way around when you have like the Manchester victims or whatever. Like I feel like when it's a dead child, but it's not a dead British child, that there's a call to action. There's a
yeah,
dead child's washed up on a beach. We have to let millions of people in. When it's a
yeah,
dead child at a concert, we have to put loads of flowers down and get over it. That pisses me off. The two-tier caring about like empathy about that because there's no like pretty much the entire book, if I could sum it up, would be we need to stop this thing. How do we stop it? And like you end up falling into like, oh, and now I'm with a group of worse people that are just selfish in their own way, whereas the government is selfish in this very malicious, very structured, very purposeful, deceitful way that they've pretty much now admitted was all an experiment, like that big Keir Starmer speech where he's like, this is an open borders experiment. So he's basically vindicated everything that everyone was saying, which was this seems like it's on purpose and malicious, and we can't vote our way out of it because it's part of the plan and blah blah blah. Um, so yeah, you're right. Like my heart is also hardened in that. Well, you don't care about these children, all these families, all these victims, and their lives are destroyed and continue to be destroyed every day. I just assume that there's a young girl somewhere walking somewhere that she used to be able to walk safely that's now under threat pretty much every day. That's happening in this country right now with men who haven't been checked, who could have previous, who could have country hopped all the way here that we know full well aren't fleeing anything. So yeah, I care about that more because that's happening
yeah.
here and that could be not happening and it should be not happening, but they're not doing anything. So that's my priority. It's like saying my arm's cut off. So like I'm more worried about like that getting an infection than having an ingrown toenail.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to look after your own first. I mean, they've just been
Sorry,
playing.
guys.
The thing about white people, I think, is just that we are very sympathetic and we care, and so they've been playing to our good nature. I mean, I remember actually when I was a kid, my father telling me a story, and I never understood it until years later. But he was telling me this story about these Saudis, and there was some kind of like oil explosion, and a bunch of like white guys or whatever, they ended up in the ocean, and the ocean was on fire, and they were like being burned to death because you're floating on the water and the water's on
Mm.
fire. And he was just telling me that the Saudis, instead of going to help them, they just got their cameras out and filmed it. Right. And I
Wow.
was just like, I just didn't, as a child, I just didn't understand it. I just didn't understand it. But now I think I understand it more. Like that, some of these people, they are not like us. They don't think
No.
like us. Yeah.
Like the story of the girl who got raped, flagged down a taxi, the taxi guy raped her,
Ugh,
and then
yeah.
someone else did after that, and you're just like we have just it's funny that so many white girls are really into true crime right now, and yet
Mm.
and yet we're walking true crime, and it's just like when are we going to have our Nuremberg for it? But yeah,
That's why.
you can get too upset by it. I think I try and just find a way to just not dip in because I think you can end up fed posting. You can end up sort of losing yourself into it, I think.
Oh,
Um
I don't look at the. I call it hate porn, and I just don't watch it at all. To be honest with you, like I think you need to go through a phase of maybe like a year or 2 years or whatever, where you open your eyes and you see all the horrible stuff that's going on, and you realize it, and you're like, oh fuck, this is really bad. And you need that in order to wake up and realize what's going on and get like a firm conviction in your mind that that
Mm.
this needs to change. But after you've gone through that phase, you probably should not be on the internet watching that stuff all the time, because you're just going to fill yourself with rage, and it's just not healthy.
No, you're right. I mean, these days, I was saying before we went live, like I go on Instagram, it's all like how to make banana bread
Yeah,
with
yeah,
blueberries for your baby, for weaning and stuff. And I'm like, I'm making little yogurt bites and I'm doing that. And then I'm kind of trying not to look at Twitter too much because he's at that age now where I think he's like he's becoming a person. So I think you can see if I'm on my phone. I don't want him to. I don't want to have like screen and baby. It feels bad. So anyway, if he's
yeah,
asleep, I'm tweeting basically. Um,
yeah,
but I go on Instagram and it's all nicey nicey, and I kind of know the moment I go to hover my thumb over Twitter, there's a part of me that's like, you're going to feel like shit in like 2 seconds. You're going to see something that pisses you off. Your cortisol's going to spike, and you're going
yeah,
to tweet something absolutely bonkers that someone somewhere is probably going to screenshot, like use later. Um, some weird far left bloke, I assume, but like maybe not. But yeah, there's that little thing of like, should I be doing this? It's like drinking a kind of, I don't know, Monster or something. It's like, should I do this? I know I'm going to feel like shit, but you do it because I guess I want to know the goss. I want to know, I would have missed Black Snape if I deleted Twitter. So it's got its good bits, but you're right,
yeah.
it's hate form.
You kind of like got to dip in, dip out, like try and
Dip
focus on
in,
the.
there's been a million rapes, but Black Snape is funny. Dip out, make the Instagram toast. Go for a walk.
Oh, oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. No,
Um,
it's hard. It's like being English is like waking up on Monday, be like, how am I being raped today? Go back to
yeah.
work.
Well, I mean, I'm very positive. I think like the Rupert thing is great. I mean, I got to ask you. I mean, I know you said you only do an hour, so I don't want to like hold you on it for too long. But
Mm.
like, I mean, like I got to ask you about the PA thing. Like, I don't know, like what happened there? Like, because that wasn't in the book as well. You like you mentioned that you went hiking like with Mark
Mm.
Collett and stuff, and that was fun. But then like you did the filming for them at their big conference, and what they like what happened there? You fell out with them?
Yeah, I mean, I thought I'd end the book when I stopped working with Tommy because I felt like it was kind of a bit of a Tommy book. So I thought I'll
Yeah.
end it. I'll end it there within that period. But then, of course, like off line or whatever, I ended up getting involved with PA. I think I just was still like mission focused. It sounds a bit cringy, but I was like, we must save Britain. We must save white people. Like I was just very still autistically trying to figure out how to fix things, and just was. I thought that Mark Collette was the next stage up from Tommy. I guess I thought he was like the closer to the truth version of nationalism. Um, which I suppose message wise, I'm sort of like, well, yeah, it's clearly the demographics are it's real. There was still that question mark around then of are these guys just like spurgy Nazis that are just talking shit? But it's very much obvious that the demographic thing was bloody blah. But I think it was just probably also trying to find a group again, and he was very accepting, so I was kind of dragged into PA awkwardly, and then I just thought, well, I can do some filming, I can try and make use of myself. So I did a bit of filming, a bit of YouTubey stuff. But then I think, what happened exactly? I think I ended up just getting loads of stalkers. I think it was because I stopped working with Tommy that people seemed to like a few weird blokes that maybe had been watching from a distance felt emboldened to sort of get close, if that makes sense, and try and, oh, you okay? Like concern, concern trolling a bit, or like, and I was not in
Concern
a position.
seduction.
You what?
Concern seduction.
Yeah, maybe, but like it's not even seduction. It's just like trying to be like, oh yeah, I could do some filming with you. It's very funny the way that certain people act. It's like they could see when they can see that someone's not romantically that way, but like is into filming stuff or is into trying to be productive. They'll try and be productive alongside you. If that makes sense, and try and be like,
Right.
oh yeah, and then maybe we'll get drunk together one time. I think that would happen a bit. My boundaries were down. I was at mum and dad's, and yeah, I ended up just I didn't. I'll be honest. I don't know what your thoughts are on Mark Collette, but I found him just to be not a very great character because I didn't feel very protected by his group either. I just found that it just became another gossipy toxic environment that was almost just like actually worse. You know, it was just like going from the frying pan into the fire. I was like, you know
Mm.
what, like I just don't belong in a group, I think, at all. And it just became, Lucy's having a mental breakdown, it's all her fault. It's all her fault. um all these weird blokes around her, no smoke without fire. She's obviously trying it on, she's obviously using people. It just was toxic. I just got this horrible reputation. And I think I stepped away and I thought to myself, there are people that I have in my life that, yes, they might be liberal, but they know, who I am a lot more than these guys. I've known these guys for 5 minutes and they've all turned on me, and they're all trying to find out things. It's just weird.
Yeah.
So
No, I found that whole
anyway,
crowd to be. I found that whole crowd to be weird as
just
well.
kind of invasive and like
Yeah.
not quite getting it. And Mark Collette, especially, I think that the reason that we stopped being friends, as it were, not that we were friends anyway, we were like, just weird Nazi friends. I don't know what you call it, but someone recorded me secretly, and I called him in his organization and his outfit cringe, and he never forgave me for it. He never forgave me for it, and he was like, "Why did you go on that stream and you called me cringe?" And I was like, "It wasn't a stream. Someone was recording me secretly," and he just didn't believe me. Anyway, so we stopped being friends after that. But no, since then I look back and I was like, "What was I thinking?" I think
Yeah.
just a bit of loneliness, a bit of wanting to be part of a political group, wanting to produce work, and it was just a thankless, hapless endeavor. And I just don't think girls, especially single girls that are probably a bit on the spectrum and a bit not understanding boundaries, it was just recipe for disaster. So I'm glad to be out of it.
Yeah.
And I've got quite a few girls that have messaged me saying like, "Hey, this XYZ person's being a bit creepy," and I've been able to give them advice, which is
Yeah.
nice. Now I'm the little old lady that lives in the cottage that like poor alt-right girls that are new into it come to me and ask me, what do I do about this?
Yeah. You're a mum now. I mean, you steered your way through it, didn't you?
I've
Yeah.
hit the
I
wall, past the
yeah.
wall.
Past the wall.
Um,
Got the baby though, so you got the prize. So there you go.
I've got the
But
little baby. But anyway, no, it's yeah, he's been good. He's asleep now. But yeah, it's been an adventure. But I just wouldn't recommend joining any groups like you say, Restore Britain and Rupert Lowe and everything. It's out in the open now. You can just be normal and just want your country to be normal again and be normal, and it's fine.
yeah, I think this
Touch
is the
wood.
I think this is the problem is that like these subject matters like I mean in the old days of the alt right it was like the JQ and race realism and you're not allowed to talk about them. They were so repressed that you'd only get like really kind of like weird, I mean, including myself, like really kind of like weird, kind of slightly autistic people that
Yeah,
were interested in it, and so you just get a lot of crazies. You get people on the edges of society, basically, and I think that's just kind of the way it is if you're on the vanguard. Um, but they've done their work now. I mean, a lot of people say the alt right has failed. I think the alt right has succeeded because alt right talking points are everywhere now. Demographics
mm,
is destiny. Like everybody is talking about this now. The celebrities that led the alt right, they've all just disappeared. But
yeah,
the ideas are in the process of going mainstream. So I think it's just like an unfortunate fact that it it took a lot of autistic retards basically to speak the truth. And
yeah.
autistic retards are unfortunately like not very sociable and difficult to get on with and so on and so forth. But I guess it was just a stage that we had to go through. But now that this stuff is going more mainstream, it's much easier to talk about it, and it's much easier for other people to get involved with it. And I mean, I guess people will be much more accepting of like people like you. I mean, like the Amelia meme. When I like the Amelia meme, and that's kind of like you, isn't it? I mean, you don't have blue
That was
hair, but it's
funny.
yeah.
Yeah, there was. I did have purple hair. I dug out a couple of pictures last
Oh
night of
wow.
purple hair.
Oh,
I
there
went
you
through every
go.
color of the rainbow. Um, but no, you're right. The Amelia meme was hilarious. But yeah, you're right. It's the sort of people that would make like Enoch Powell cry if he knew years after his death, these are the sorts of people that are going to be saying that you were right and promoting your message and stuff. I think you burst into tears.
Yeah. But I think it's necessary because the Amelia meme is like opening the door up to well, normal English women, I suppose. It's like saying, it's like, okay, you've got purple hair, but doesn't matter. You're on our side. Like, you're English. You're part of the English story.
Yeah, well,
Whereas
can't.
before, like the alt right and the nationalist circle, they were very like, I don't know, like Puritan and like trying to like, I don't know, like make girls like bake a cake or make a sandwich or something, or fit into some kind of box that they didn't like really
Yeah, they
fit
wanted like
into.
AI girls, which is funny now that when they make AI girls, you can see what's inside people's heads a lot more. So a lot of the Tommy type people, it's all those cringe lions, lions and Knights Templars running around and
Yeah,
Jesus, and all that kind of stuff, and
yeah,
like the AI songs and stuff. But yeah, Amelia, because I remember thinking this back in the beginning. I was like, if Islam, it's so cringe to say, but when you first read Paul, and you're like, but if Britain becomes Islamic, there won't be any goths. There won't be any girls with purple hair. They can't because they'll be in a bag. They'll be in a burqa. So we
yeah,
can't have that. So we need to fight this because I want to have my goths and I want to have my weird subcultures. I want to see women like Susie Sue walking around with like big stupid mohawks and stuff. And it's a silly way to think because obviously at the same time you're going, yeah, but women should be traditional and da da da. Look at all this old Pathé images of, traditional British countryside towns and all of this. But the subcultures and the modern stuff, I don't know, like it's still our culture, even though it's kind of
yeah.
cringe and slop, but
No,
it's
hundred
still better
percent.
than Caliphate.
Yeah, no, hundred. This is it. Like I don't know. There's some kind of like weird. I think like when it comes to PA, especially, I think a lot of the. I think Mark Collett is middle class. I mean, he went to a private school, and
Mm.
it's like you've got a bunch of middle class people who are pretending to be working class, and it's like, well, actually, the working classes are a lot more like the working classes do drugs, guys. Like I'm having this argument right now, actually on Twitter, like because there's I think what was his James Goddard, or he's reposting this kid, and he goes around the world buying bags, right? So he's doing coke in Hong Kong and coke in Rio, and he's like, in fact, he's giving a rating like how good the cocaine is in Brazil or whatever, and the comment section is like full of people going, "Oh, this is degenerate," and I'm just thinking, he's an English lad. Like, I'm sorry, this is what working class people do. They do
I've
cocaine.
got such a soft spot for James Goddard just because every time I see a tweet of his and it just goes so far over the line.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
just like makes me laugh because I think he's like in Thailand or something, right? So he's just giving out like no fucks anymore and he just like the stuff he comes out with, I'm just like you say, it's like it's just that lad banter, like very, very extreme version of it.
yeah. No, I got
But
nothing
no, you're
against
right.
James Goddard, but it's just like there's a slight I can't even say the word Puritanism,
Yeah.
like to nationalist culture. And it's like, well, like nationalism is supposed to be it's supposed to be populism, and it's supposed to be about the people. And I'm sorry, but like I work in a factory, and I used to work in a kitchen. I've done all kinds of jobs, and I've worked with working class people, and they all do drugs. They do drugs, they do coke, they play video games, they've got tattoos, they've got purple hair, and they don't wear suits. They wear tracksuit bottoms, and that's the people of England, and that's the people we need. That's the people that we should be rallying behind. That's the people that we should be defending, not shitting on them with like this kind of like middle class sneery kind of attitude of like, oh, you're so degenerate,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
it's no good.
No, I had that problem too because I used to always argue with Mark Collette behind the scenes about like, oh, go on, let me have like one drag bar in your ethno state, just one, like with a little comedy night or something,
Right.
like why can't you just have like let there be a Soho, like just let there be a little
Yeah.
area where the people can go out and they can dance to Madonna, and like you say, they could do a bit of blow or whatever, bit of puff, but no, he wasn't having it. He was just like, in my world, everyone wears suits and bowler hats and they listen to fucking harpsichord music all day, and then they
Yeah.
go home and read the Bible to their 10 children. And yeah, I don't know, stupid. I feel really bad because of the whole cocaine thing with Tommy, because I think just at the time it just wasn't something that I really, I just didn't register with it. I was like, why are you doing this? What a crap, stupid drug to do. But then it was afterwards working at a pub that I was like, oh, right, this is pretty good stuff.
Oh, I
I
know.
get it now.
I don't really like it. I've never really liked cooking. I mean, I've done it, but I just, to be honest with you, I just think it's too expensive. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I was like, okay, what's all the fuss about?
yeah,
So I tried a bit, but it's what's the word? You know that thing? It's you're sitting there in the morning and you're just like the world is a disgusting place, and like I'm the most disgusting person in it. Like I'm like the center of it being disgusting. And I've ingested demons, like this thing, and it's made by child slaves, and anyway, it's all got all this bad juju's gone into me, and it's all just swimming around my head, and anyway, it's not good in the long run.
yeah.
It's not nothing beats like these days for me. I get up, I have some fucking muesli. I have some muesli, and I put on lo-fi, and I make some whatever for myself. It's just I don't know.
Even a
Become an old
strong cup. I
lady.
think a strong cup of coffee is better than cocaine. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like
Yeah,
I genuinely don't. Maybe we just got rubbish cocaine where I'm from, but I mean, I genuinely don't see the attraction. I like magic mushrooms. Like I take some shrooms and like at least you get some like visuals and stuff. I remember in the 90s taking ecstasy. I mean that was brilliant, but cocaine it just kind of like makes your jaw clamp up and it's like it's really expensive and you get jittery and then you just blab on about a bunch of like stuff like personal information that you probably shouldn't be talking about with people that you don't really know and I don't know. I don't really see the attraction to be honest with you. I don't see
then you end
why
up just
everybody.
staring at the sofa while someone like trying to pretend that you don't want the next line that someone's racking up.
Yeah, it's just like yeah, just that was never really into it. But I mean, anyway, I mean, I'm not judging. People want to do it, they can do it. But I just think I don't think the nationalist movement needs to be too Puritan. I don't think we should be cancelling Christmas anytime soon. I just want to get these horrible people out of the country that are raping schoolgirls. Basically, I mean that's it. That's what we gotta focus on.
Yeah, at the bare minimum, that's like that's a
Yeah,
few 100,000 at the very least gone. That'd be nice
it's
to
gonna
start.
be millions because we don't know how many illegals are in the country. I mean, the supermarkets think it's 80 million people living in the country. So there's probably like an extra 10 that we don't even know about.
Yeah, I think we're sitting on the government don't know what to do with it. It's going to kick off. We don't know where it's going to go. So,
Yeah, yeah.
so we'll see.
We'll
Yeah.
see, but I think we're going to win. I've been ignoring the chat. Sorry, everybody, but
There's a chat.
yeah. Well, I can't read. Look, I can't read the chat and do the interview at the same time because then I got distracted and I can't concentrate on what you're saying. So I always ignore the chat. People have told me it's very rude and I should interact with the chat more, but I can't do two things at the same time. But anyway,
Okay.
thank you everybody in the chat for listening. Alphabet Cat, my loyal viewer, millions must go. Yes, thank you everybody in the chat for listening and thank you very much Lucy for coming on the show and thank you for writing the book and I'm very happy to see you settled with your baby baking banana bread or whatever it is you do like I'm very happy for you.
Yeah, it turns out I'm trad after all.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
there
no,
you
thank you
go.
for having me.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, that's it then. Well, we'll knock it on the head. And once again, thank you for coming on. And goodbye, everybody. And good night. Good night.
Ciao.
Ciao.